Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Megan. If this is the first ever video you're seeing of me, actually let's put my hair down, because I hate wearing my hair up. And I'm sorry for the weird, this is a weird outfit to be wearing for this kind of thing, but I have been debating on making this video for like a year or so, and I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do it today, and I'm just gonna talk. I don't have any notes or anything. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna talk, have all my feelings out, explain to what's going on, because I've been going through it. Okay, so like I said, if you don't know who I am, my name is Megan. I'm 28 years old. I have a husband named Josh. He is also 28. We've been married for about 4 years, almost 4 years. We got married in 2018. After we got married, we decided, let's wait before we have kids. Let's have a couple years of marriage, the newlywed phase or whatever, and then we can have kids. Because, you're always taught, once you do it, that's how you get pregnant. And that's what we were always told. So about 2 years of being married, we decided, okay, we're ready for kids. A couple months in, I'm like, okay, nothing's happening. But then I'm like, oh, maybe it's just my body. My body needs, I don't know, maybe it takes a couple months. 6, 7, 8 months in, and I'm like, something's not right here. You watch, Teen Mom and all this, and you're like, people get pregnant so easily all the time. I'm healthy. My husband's healthy. I don't know what's going on. So I go to the doctor. The doctor's like, we can't really do anything until it's been a year of trying. A year of active trying. So I said, okay. So a year goes by. Still nothing. And I decide, okay, I want to try one more time before we go to the doctor. And then that turns into, let's try again before we go to the doctor. I was just so scared to go to the doctor and just be told something I didn't want to hear. So I was just hoping maybe if, we could just get pregnant naturally and it would be okay. And like I said, I just kept going, just one more time. And then we got that magical positive pregnancy test. I took so many of them just because I didn't think it was real. I got that positive pregnancy test. I was so excited. I was about 4 weeks along, so the exact date where you'd miss your period. And I knew the whole, wait to tell people because you could have a miscarriage and all of that. So I decided to wait to tell people. I called. I made my first appointment with the, OBGYN, and I was like, okay, we're gonna wait to tell people. And I'm over at my parents' house, my dad's house, and my mom just looks at me and she goes, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" And I was like, she goes, "I can tell you're pregnant, aren't you?" And I just start crying because I didn't know what to do. And she starts crying because she knew that was a yes. And we both were crying and she was so excited. She called my dad, told him he was so excited. And then a couple days later, I'm at work and I just started bleeding. And, I'm freaking out. I call my mom. We go to the emergency room. And she drops me up at the front. She's like, hey, go in, check in, whatever. And then I'll come in. Don't go back without me. And I was like, okay. So I go in, check in, and they immediately take me back. And so I text her, and I'm like, hey, they're taking me back. And she texts me and tells me they're not letting her go back because of, COVID. So they gave her a number to call and to check on me. So I go back, and I'm freaking out because I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to have to go through this by myself. I go back, and then before they, start taking my blood, my mom walks in. And I'm like, did you yell at them? And the nurse said, no, we yelled at them. So apparently they were like, hey, she needs to be back here with her. Which kind of made me a little worried because they knew something was up. So they took my blood. They did an ultrasound, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing there. Sorry. Sent me home. Devastating. I was like, okay, well, at least I know now I can get pregnant. Maybe it just needed, I don't know what it was, but so then the next month I was like, just wait. Let's wait a month before we do anything. Next month after that, I get pregnant again. And I was like, I knew this time was different because those lines on those tests were so dark. I was like, I know this one's different. And so since I was scared, since just 2 months earlier I had a miscarriage, I was so scared. So I called my doctor up and I was like, I need a blood test. I need to know. So I go in and I called and I said, I need a blood test. I want to know this is real. Give me a blood test. So I go to the doctor, and then they take a urine test. I didn't ask for a urine test. They took a urine test, and she said, you're not pregnant. I said, that's not possible, because I've taken, at least 10 tests, and they're all very, very, very positive. So she's like, okay, that's weird. Let's do a blood test. I said, that's what I wanted in the first place, so cool. Take a blood test. Next day, she calls me. She's like, yep, your blood test shows you're pregnant. Sorry, people coughing. She was like, let's do a test in 2 days. Make sure your levels are rising. Everything's healthy. Since you've had a miscarriage in the past, let's just check and make sure your levels are rising like they're supposed to. And I was like, cool. And I was feeling confident. I was like, I'm great. We pass, 4 weeks. We're in five weeks now. So I'm like, okay, we passed the time where I had a miscarriage the first time. We're good. And then I go back in, I get my levels checked again, and then the next day I get a notification on my phone that said, your labs are in. So I check, my levels have dropped dramatically, and I knew exactly what that meant. So, and it was 6 a.m. So I wake Josh up and I tell him what it means. We were both devastated. My doctor calls me to tell me, exactly what I saw, just to tell me that they're dropping and that she thinks I'm gonna miscarry. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the emergency room for them to just tell me what I know. I'm not gonna spend all that money, because I live in the United States of America. Going to the doctor at all is very expensive. Going to the emergency room is more expensive. And when I went to the emergency room for the first time, just for them to take my blood and do the ultrasound and be like, nothing's there, you're good, bye, so much money. So I was like, I'm not going to the emergency room just to spend all this money for them to tell me exactly for them to tell me what I already know. So I need to stop playing with this hair thing. So I kind of just had to wait it out. And I don't want to be too gory, but it was way worse than the first time when I saw things, and it sucked. It was a lot more painful because it was more farther along, and yeah, like I said, I saw things. It sucked. And having, one miscarriage sucked, but having 2 in 3 months was horrible. So we decided we cannot just do this by ourselves. We cannot go through another miscarriage. Mentally, physically, we cannot go through this. Our only next option was to go to a fertility specialist. So my doctor referred us to a fertility specialist. We get into the specialist, and he tells us, let's take all these tests, see what's going on. And he reassured us. He was like, I'm going to write these tests so your insurance will, cover some of it. I don't know if it'll cover all of it. I don't know what insurance you have, but, the way I write it should cover some of it. So we get the tests done, a lot of blood taken, We get the test done, and then I get a call the next day that our insurance does not cover a cent of anything fertility related. So everything will have to be out of pocket. And we already did these tests. You know, having the doctor tell us, oh no, you'll be fine. It'll cover it, don't worry. And then to learn, just kidding, all of this will be out of pocket. And then him saying, to know the results of all these tests you take, you have to come back and pay X amount of dollars again. And we were kind of stuck because we already have to pay all of this money because of the tests we already took. And if we don't go back to get the results and pay all this money to get the results, then we're just wasting money. So we decide, okay, we have to do it. You know, we have to know these. We have to know the results. It's a lot of money, but we have to do it. So we go back to the specialist to learn that I have some kind of antibody. I don't know all the medical terms, but I have some kind of antibody that keeps killing off these pregnancies. And so in order for me to get pregnant and stay pregnant, I will have to take a lot of medications. If I know, like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing is guaranteed. So hopefully for me to get pregnant, I will have to take a lot of medications. It'll be a lot of doctor's appointments with the specialist. And then once I do get pregnant, I will have to continue taking a lot of medication. And like I said, none of that is covered. It's all out of pocket. I'm trying to get new insurance right now, but it'll still, you know, I've done some research and I think it's most insurance doesn't cover it. So now we're stuck at this crossroads of the only way that we can get pregnant is through a specialist. And the only way to do that is a lot of money. And it sucks. You know, I've wanted to be a mom my whole life. I know Josh has always wanted to be a dad. And it just feels like because we don't have these thousands of dollars to just spend on this all up front, that we might not have this. We might not have the ability to be parents. So no one knows what the future's gonna hold. No one knows what can happen. But it's not looking good for us. This is a very depressing video, I'm sorry. But if you've made it this long, I do have a GoFundMe to help us with some of these costs. I mean, you're no need to, you know, I'm not forcing you, but if you have any penny counts, and it would mean the world to us, I will link the GoFundMe below. And hopefully my next video will be much more happier. If you've made it this far, thank you. And yeah, I don't really know how to end this.